Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parirajakcharya Ashtadara Satta Shri Srima. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Charya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parirajakcharya Ashtadara Satta Shri Srima. His Divine Grace Shira Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sakha Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasade Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinam Shama Kung Radha Kum Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Chamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Prasadana Distribution Ki Jai. Hare Rama Sankirtan Ki Jai. ISKCON Youth Dwargadam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Pramanandi Hare 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 Bo. All glories to the Sambodhi devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Sambodhi devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Sambodhi devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nanayana Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswatim Vyasam Tattvachayam Uditnayet Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 5, text number 8. Etam me Prichatam Savam Savagya Sakalenshvara Vijanihi Yathai Vedam Aham Budhye Nushasita Etame Prichata Savam Savagya Sakaleshvara Vijanihi Yathai Vedam Aham Budhye Nushashita Etame Prichata Savam Savagya Sakaleshvara Vijanihi Yathai Vedam Aham Budhye Nushasita Etame Prichata Savam Savagya Sakaleshvara Vijanihi Yathai Vedam Aham Budhye Nushasita Etame Prichata Savam Savagya Sakaleshvara Ahamudya Nushasitam Etame Pichata Savam Savagya Sakareshvara Vijanihi Yatai Vedam Aham Buddhye Nushashitam. Mataji. Etame Pichatyaham Savagya Sakareshvara Vijanidhi Yatai Vedam Aham Buddhye Nushashitam. Etat, all those may unto me Pichata, inquisitive, Savam, all that is inquired, Savagya, one who knows everything, Sakala, over all, Ishvara, the controller, Vijanihi, kindly explain, Yata, as, Eva, they are, Idam, this, Aham, myself, Buddhye, can understand, Anushasita, just learning from you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. My dear Father, you know everything and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me so that I may be able to understand it as your student. Purport. The inquiries made by Narada Muni are very important for everyone concerned. And as such, Narada requested Brahmaji to deem them suitable so that all others who may come in the line of disciplic succession of the Brahma Sampradaya may also know them properly without any difficulties. Om Jnanatiminandasya Jnananjana Sharakaya Chakshu Uminitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtan Stapidan Yena Buddhare Svayanupa Katamahyam Tadati Swam Padantikam. Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupan Sagrachatam Sahagana Nakunata Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinna Bandhu Chakapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kamchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Nishwari Vishabhanu Srude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakau Pataru Vyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnanebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Etame Pichata Savam Savagya Sakalenshvara Vijanihi Yatai Vedam Aham Buddhye Nushasitam. My dear Father, you know everything and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me so that I may be able to understand it as your student. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said that the inquiries made by Narada Muni are very important for everyone concerned. So, why Narada Muni's questions to Lord Brahma are so important? What are Narada Muni's questions? So let's take a look. Actually, this chapter starts from Narada Muni's question to Lord Brahma. So in the first verse of this chapter, Narada Muni asked, his first question to Lord Brahma. Narada Muni said, O chief among the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. So this is the first question Narada Muni was asking Lord Brahma. He wants to know that the transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. And then in the second verse of this chapter, Narada Muni asked Lord Brahma many other questions. He asked, My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? So she asked like 5 questions in the second verse. And then, in the fourth verse of this chapter, Narada Muni continually asked Lord Brahma, saying, My dear father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create entities with material elements by your personal energy? So this is another 5 questions. So I'm asking, had Narada Muni asked the price of rice and dal in his question to Lord Brahma? No. No. Yeah. Actually, I have counted that Narada Muni has asked Lord Brahma 11 questions. 11 questions. But none of the questions are about eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. None of them. Yeah. You see, in China, we were saying, 民以食为天. That means eating is the natural nature of humans. So therefore, in greeting with one another in China, besides we are saying 你好, hello, we also ask 你吃了吗? Means, have you already eaten your rice? Yeah. So that means eating is very, very important. Is very frequently asked in China. But nobody is asking questions like Narada Muni. You see? Nobody. Actually, it is said in the Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasha, that human life begins when one starts to ask questions about the Supreme. That means one should inquire into the Supreme. In the Bhagavad Gita, I find many nice. Oh, where's my glasses? Oh, it's here. Sorry. I'm so confused. Sorry. I was looking for the glasses, but it's not here. Sorry. In the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada had very nice explanation about, what human beings should ask. In the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, he said, out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are a few who are actually inquiring about their position as to what they are, why they are put into this awkward position, and so on. Unless one is awakened to his position of questioning his suffering, unless he realizes that he doesn't want suffering, but rather want to make a solution to all suffering, then one is not to be considered a perfect human being. Humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. In the Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called Brahma Jigyasa, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Early activities of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the absolute. You know, we human beings are so proud of our material achievement, like lots of skyscrapers, airplane, or so many other achievements. But Prabhu said here that every activities of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the absolute. Yeah. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering or where they came from and where they shall go after death are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should also have firm respect for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. In another place of the Gita, Prabhupada also wrote similar comments. Actually, in the comment to chapter 3, text number 37, Prabhupada, he also wrote very nice purport about this point. Srila Prabhupada, he said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded himself into many of his ever-increasing spiritual bliss. And the living entities are parts and parcel of this spiritual bliss. They also have partial independence. But by misuse of their independence, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, they come under the sway of lust. This material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill their lustful propensity. And when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entity begin to inquire about their real position. This inquiry is the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra, wherein it is said, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. One should inquire into the Supreme. And the Supreme is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as Jamadya Asya Yato Vayat Iti Ratascha, or the origin of everything is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the origin of lust is also in the Supreme. If therefore lust is transformed into love for the Supreme, or transformed into Krishna consciousness, or in other words, desiring everything for Krishna, then both lust and wrath can be spiritualized. And then Prabhupada, he gave two nice examples describing this point. Prabhupada said, Hanuman, the great servitor of Lord Ram, expiated his wrath by burning the golden city of Ravana. And by doing so, he became the greatest devotee of the Lord. Here also, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna induces Arjuna to engage his wrath upon his enemy for the satisfaction of the Lord. Therefore, lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, become our friends instead of our enemy. So therefore, Lord, upon hearing Narad Muni's questions, Lord Brahma is really very pleased and inspired. And Lord Brahma said, "My dear Narada, be merciful to all, including me. You have asked all these questions because I have been inspired to see into the prowess of the Almighty Personality of Godhead." So we will see this in the next verse. Yeah. So I just stop here. Are there any questions and answers? Questions and comments? Yes, Big Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Nice class. A lot of nice points. My question is a little bit off the main theme of your class, but you did mention it. In China, when they ask that question, have you eaten rice? Obviously, I would assume the person is not really interested to find out whether the person they're asking the question to has actually eaten rice, but it's a way of expressing affection. Would that be correct?
Not, if I'm understanding your question right, they are not really, mean do they eat or not. Just a kind of, show some concern about him or something like, it's a kind of ask his welfare beings, welfare, like that, Not really, have you eat your rice or not, not really, But just, out of, respect or love, like asking like that, you see.
That. Okay, thank you.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna.
I will.
Can you explain a little bit more how this tendency to be lusty, to transfer into love for Krishna, actually, not for our own sense gratification? Maybe you can say.
So actually, in our Krishna consciousness, all the senses can be actively engaged in the service of Krishna. In the material world, everyone wants to enjoy, the senses. Everyone wants to enjoy the sense gratification. If we, and that is very sinful. That is, we call that sinful activities. But in Krishna consciousness, we do not deny the activities of the senses, but we just properly engage our senses in the service of the Lord. For example, our eye naturally want to see beautiful things. So instead of, using our eye to engage in sense gratification by looking at the naked woman, we engage our eye in looking the beautiful deities. Yeah. And the tongue naturally wants to eat very nice food and speaks also. So instead of eating all kinds of meat, all the nonsense foodstuffs, the devotees, is happy to engage the senses in tasting nectarian Krishna Prasad and talking about, pastimes, glories of Lord Krishna. So similarly, all the other senses can be actively engaged in the service of Lord Krishna. By doing so, naturally, our senses will become pacified, will be happy, will be satisfied. So that is, something I thought about. Maybe somebody else have some other insight in this regard. Yes, Big Prabhu.
Not an insight, but I know the reason why Prema Sankirtan is asking that question is because he has a hidden desire to be a Kshatriya and fight for Krishna. and he really wants to know, can he take birth in another universe and assist Krishna as a Kshatriya? So
Wow,
is
that's
that a
amazing.
bona fide desire to want to?
I think so, yeah, like Arjun, But Arjun is a Kshatriya, and he's using his, ability to fight for Krishna. And he becomes successful his life, you see. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong.
Was that a confidential desire that you did not want revealed, or did it matter to you whether it was revealed? What he just mentioned. Okay, he revealed something about you personally. Okay? Did you want that revealed to the public in general, or would you have preferred that it not be revealed? What is your position?
My position is whatever Krishna wants, I will accept it.
Actually,
No, that's not the answer. It's either yes or no. It's either I wanted it revealed and it's fine, or I don't want it revealed. The reason I'm asking is because sometimes devotees have confidential desires and they do not want them revealed to everybody. Therefore, it is good to find out first. Is it okay for me to reveal this kind of a thing? Because if it's very personal and confidential and you want to keep it to yourself at this point, then it should be kept in itself and it should not become a public expression.
No, I'm okay with that. I respect what Prabhupada said, so it's okay.
So you don't mind?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
all right. So we will stop here. Thank you very much. Gantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shira Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai.